Hello everyone, how is everyone doing? I'm doing fine, how are you? And welcome back to another episode of Project Architect. Yes, and today, as you can see, I finished up the interior of this. We're still gonna have like different floors, but I want to start off like here in the base floor. I want to set it up so we have like stuff going on, and then we can actually go in to find the floors and how high we want this to go, because at the top we're gonna have draconic stuff, that's for sure. I'm definitely making the Eye of Mordor with the reactor from draconic, but down here I want to go nuclear with power, of course. I told you guys this, but we want to be getting into this mod. But to get into this mod, we need to automate a lot of stuff, like really automate a lot of stuff. I'm looking into maybe trying out solar panels, because I really like solar panels back in the day, so maybe we can set up some of those. There's even like a basic version which it literally needs nothing. Like it can probably just go ahead and immediately craft one of these guys, probably. Okay, we did this one, which we need this one, so hold on. I think we basically have everything for it. Yeah. Now, is this just like a carpet? It is. Okay. It does 50 FE protect. That's not that bad, you know. That's definitely not that bad, though. We can upgrade it into a basic version, but now we cannot upgrade it because now we start needing energized steel, and energized steel comes through processing. So just to explain you guys the basic setup of this, what you want to be having is some of these energizing rods, because these are the actually energy transmitters into an energizing orb, and this is where the crafting will come. So if I search for energized steel, there we go. You can see that we need iron, gold, and 10,000 FE. So this needs power, you know, of course. Each one of these rods actually holds 10,000, so I mean, just with this energy alone we can technically make 4. But if I quickly go and grab gold, I can even grab like a stack of gold, and then I can also grab a stack of iron, like so. That's perfect. We can go ahead and put one of each, and these things automatically energize this thing and produce what this thing actually needs to produce. Then it's actually gonna pop out 2 energized steel, and then I need to find a way of actually outputting this, because that's gonna be the hardest part, I should say. But in order to do that, I think I'm gonna be going with modular routers over here. This mod is actually kinda good. It has a lot of functionality. Like I can even just go ahead and do something like this real quick. Yeah, and then I can place these guys down like so. Then I will be needing some of the upgrades, which I already went ahead and made a couple. So in order to automate this, what I want to be using is 2 senders, and I went ahead and made the best version, the MK3, and a puller, which I just realized I also have a puller MK2. So let's do the puller MK2 as well. And basically what you want to be doing is shift right clicking here, and then you want to put this into here, into the modules. And I think if you, let's see, shift right click, no, it's N, or middle click to configure. Why is it not showing up? Well, I guess you can also manually do this. So basically what I want to be putting is, this is the filter option. I want to whitelist, like for example, iron over here, and then we want to have a regulator. These regulators basically tell you like how much of this you actually want to go with, and then I put it over here, and now this knows it's 1 iron ingot that this will be sending here. And then I can just pick this one up and do the same thing for gold. So whitelist, then add the regulator, add this to 1, and then just put it into here. And now if I imagine, if I just give it like 63 gold, yeah, you see it immediately pops in there, and the iron immediately pops in there, and then actually that thing starts to produce, which is pretty cool. But now we need this one to pick that thing up. So if we do that over there, we also have some energized steel. You don't need to filter it for one simple reason, and that's because this has an output function. So this will only pick up the output basically, so you don't need a filter. You can if you're doing multiple things with only one of these, but I don't think it's necessary for now. But one of the best things about this is that this may look a little bit like weird, you know, if you look at it from the sides, but what you can also do with this is give it a camouflage upgrade. So let's go and grab like 3 of these. I think you need to shift right click on this, and then if you give it the upgrade, boom, it's completely invisible. So I can make this completely invisible until until I have like the final idea of how I want this to go. I will keep it like this, so I'm gonna save these upgrades for now, but for now I'm just gonna leave it like this so I can actually work better with this. Now, the next step in fully automating this is actually connecting it over there to my storage system, and actually went ahead and dug an entire room underneath here and just use the lights on the top and just fill in the dark spots, so I can have like cable management down here. So this is actually gonna save me a lot of time. So all I have to do is basically go all the way up here. I think, yeah, there it is. That's the one I want, so I need to just drive it into here. Don't use the destruction catalyst there, please, just don't. And then just pull up cables underneath here, and I'm gonna take these guys into the middle of the room. Sure, yeah, and just fill in the gaps here. And now we can basically take this into all the machines that we might need, like across the room. And I know that I have some over here that need some of the things, so just pull it over into here. Now I need to try and find out where is what I need. Okay, this is the rods. So if the rods are there, I think it is here. Yeah, there, and I think here. Perfect. Okay, so we found all of them, so we don't need it to be all the way up here. We need to link these guys here, and basically we now need to have 2 exporters because we're exporting out of our system. So we're exporting things into here. Yeah, as you can see, we have exact mode on, we have type items. Yeah, it needs to be items that we're exporting into here. And then we need to give this an importer. Importer is way easier because it's just gonna import things into the system like so, and boom. Now if we go ahead and click, yeah, you can see the items are getting out of here, which is what we want. But now we need to give this the importer. And is it actually going to start pulling it on its own? No, it is not. So we need to tell it what it needs to pull. Same for this one. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and set that up. And now this is actually going perfectly. I set those up, and now it's pulling in gold, it's pulling in iron, and it's making the energized steel. But now there's another thing that I got my hands on, which is the netherite crafter. And this is basically, I went for the netherite because it's the highest tier one, so we can have a bunch of recipes here. And basically what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna set this up here. No, I want you facing up, don't need you facing down, so like so. There you go. Now it's perfect. And this is basically what's gonna be auto crafting for me, because if we take a look at here, we need to go into the patterns, and we need a pattern grid. And if I can Autocraft this, right? Yeah, we can. Perfect. And then can I put it over here? We can. That's amazing. That's really, really good. Now that we have this here, we need to learn basically how to do patterns. So this, and if we just pick up a pattern, we can teach ourselves how to make patterns. Pretty easy, even though patterns do have an EMC value. It's probably for the best. And then we just put it here, and now we know how to use or autocraft patterns. Now with this, what we're gonna do is, if we go and check, for example, Powah, imagine we want to automate this. We need the box of cords, but imagine we need the ardent capacitors, these guys, because we can craft them now. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set a pattern for us to be able to autocraft this. Now if we just go ahead and search for another pattern, boom, we now know how to make these hardened capacitors, which is pretty cool. So if I set this onto here, you can see it immediately converts. The pattern is a pattern. This immediately converts into the item it is, so you know, it's basically easier for you to tell what you know and what you don't know. And the next tier should be this one, which is the blazing capacitor. Now this one, for example, needs me to set up a secondary crafting recipe, or an energizing recipe, I should say. And this one is going to be using blaze rods. And then we're going to need to set up one for like the blaze rods. We need one for diamonds, and we need one for emeralds. And then we also will be needing one for these bad boys, but the nitro crystals, but these are like top tier. We also need ender cores. We also could use charged snowballs. What do these even do? I don't know. I just want to test it. I'll probably do this like once so I can test it out and see what it does. But yeah, the ender cores, for example, these guys are needed for transferring power and transferring like a whole bunch of things from one place to the other. These are really good. But the nitro is like the top tier for the reactor, so this is what we're going to be aiming for. And so, for example, on the blaze powder, what you want to be doing is just setting the regular augment for 4. And yes, blaze powder is better to use than the blaze rod because it's a whole lot cheaper in terms of EMC. So just add this into here. And did I shift right click here? Okay, now I did. Right? Yeah. And now if I put this thing here, it's gonna send 4 items there. That's perfect. And then this one, I'll just put it over here. So it's gonna be receiving that. I can like whitelist it, like I said, but it's not really necessary because as soon as this has an output, it will just pick it up. Then I just need to link it down over there to the system. Now, of course, you can see that this is taking a little while, you know, because it's 120,000. But the problem is the rods. The rods need to be upgraded, and that's like the next step. And then we can just full on work towards actually going to the nitro area, I think. Because I don't think there's nothing really stopping us, right? Yeah, and as you can see, just by making the ardent version of the cables and the ardent version of the rods, yeah, it's way faster now. Way faster. Though it's consuming a lot more energy. And just like that, you can see we already have a lot more things going on. We have the energized steel, which is using the ardent cables. We have blaze ones, which are now upgraded into blazing cables. And we now have the one for diamonds, which is giving us, I keep forgetting the name, the neotic crystals. And this is still using the blazing cables. We have the emerald one, which is using spirited cables, but with neotic rods. So this is also going very fast. And then for last, we have this one. So this one is the one who's going to be giving us nitro crystals. But we don't want to keep this thing constantly spamming because it's gonna consume a lot of energy, it's gonna consume a lot of resources, like basically nether stars, because they're decently expensive. But we can actually tell it how many we want, because we have to basically tell our system to craft these crystals, which is pretty good. So if I go ahead and I tell it, okay, we're gonna do 10, we can make 10, and it's gonna craft 10 of these, and it's gonna start pulling in 10 into this system here. And for some reason it is not pulling the items in. It's pulling in this. Why is it not pulling in this? Wait, did I link it? I did link it, right? Okay, for some reason that's bugging out, but as you can see, it's now gonna take me 20 million RF, but it's gonna make us some nitro crystals, which that's pretty okay, not gonna lie. And we can now just save away like all of these things because we don't need it anymore, and we can now go and do our reactor. Yes, which is not the energy cell, not the furnace, though the furnator, these guys probably really fast, not gonna lie, but this, the reactor, the nitro reactor. This is gonna be very expensive. It's gonna take a lot of nitro capacitors, but I already taught myself how to make nitro capacitors, nitro energy cables, and nitro energy rods. So we're probably gonna upgrade everything into this. We're only missing the ender cores, and the snowball is gonna be a fun thing. But the dry ice, that's one we definitely need to automate. So I'm probably gonna do those like in these corners, and then just leave the center here to go down into our cable system. And I'm probably gonna move that a little bit closer to there. But then we're gonna have our reactor and just a little bit of AFK, and we can now craft 36 of these nitro reactors. Why do I have this wing? Well, I don't know. And this reactor, yeah, you can see it can be placed and it's gonna build itself. So let me just go ahead and get rid of this. Also get rid of this, because that's not gonna be needed there. Let's go and grab more terracotta. There we go. Just one single piece is enough. Though we will be breaking it because we need a cable to just come out of here. But boom, this looks very, very cool. Boom, there we go. Oh my god, this is very, very nice. And it has a lot of things that it actually needs to get. One of those I still have not automated, but I believe it's going to be really easily automated, just because my power was at the brink of failing. It literally took every single thing of my power. My 30,000 RF per tick was not enough to handle some of these energizing nitro rods over here. That's what I use. I was still able to put 2 of them, so this would be a little bit faster. But now hopefully with this bad boy we will be like a whole lot better. Now, how does this bad boy work? Basically, he works off uranite. Yeah, this thing. Yeah, he works off uranite. And then, as you can see, on its own, it's producing nearly 15,000 RF, which is pretty cool. We can toggle this on so it shuts himself off. Yeah, perfect. But you can see the temperature is also increasing, and we need to be careful with that. The way you deal with the temperature is basically just give it dry ice. Now, there is also a couple other things we can give it. I'm not sure if charcoal works, but we're gonna give it a go. Charcoal works here to basically increase, and the redstone increase the efficiency of the uranite. So, okay, charcoal blocks work. That's perfect. You can see that the power now is skyrocketing. It hit 60k, and I'm actually just gonna grab one of each real quick. because I'll need one of each to set this thing up, and it's just producing a massive amounts of thing. Now you can see I need to toggle it off real quick. And is it off? Okay, now it is. Do you see the temperature? It's very, very high. Very, very high. That's because we need to give it water. We need water ASAP, and for that I'm just gonna use an ender chest. Pretty sure if I just use, or not an ender chest, but an ender tank, we should have those, right? Yeah, there you go. Like one of these, in this case 2 of these. We'll paint them blue real quick, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it doesn't actually consume the ink though. And then we just need an aqueous accumulator, this bad boy. Yep, there we go. And now we can just go somewhere and place this down, and then it will just pretty much link itself over there. And I gave it water, and you can see the temperature now is dropping massively, and this will increase the power that we generate. And for some reason it gives this bug if I have the ender tank in my sight. Like I don't know why this is a thing, but yeah, you can see that if I have it, as soon as I like put it in frame or something like that, yeah, I don't know what is happening with that, but that's a massive bug. And it happens if I do it like that over there. So I think I'm just gonna remove the tanks and just use the aqueous accumulator on its own, because this is kind of weird. And okay, there we go. We can reach 80,000 RF per tick, and we also have this auto mode on, which will basically shut the reactor off when it's at 70% of its capacity, which is pretty good. We don't need to keep it always on, and this will not overheat. This is pretty cool, pretty chill. We still have a lot of dry ice, though we do need to automate it. And we created a different network. As you can see, we have a pretty good input of energy in here, which means we can now start upgrading these rods into something better, so we have a lot faster in terms of production. Like here, it's gonna make a massive difference in these guys. But we need to automate dry ice. We also need to completely automate the ender core as well. So these are the last 2 things that we need to automate, and I think we're good. And now we have all of these beautiful things automated with Powah. Now that's pretty cool, not gonna lie. This is actually a pretty good feeling. And that's all the time I have for today. Yeah, it is. We did basically the entire mod pack of Powah, I think. I mean, there's also some other machines which I'm using at the moment. I'm not using the thermo generator. I do want to give it a go at the solar panels later down the line to some cool projects. There's the thermal generators, the furniture generators. There's of course the ender cells. This is we call to transfer power out of here. Though we are using the plugs, basically the flux plug and the flux points, you know, right over there. So yeah, and I created a different network, but basically I'm also using this player transmitter to charge my armor basically and my tools, so we're not always relying on the, what's the system that we have over here, the flux network. Yeah, so we're not always relying on this, the flux controller. Because I don't know what's the range on this, but you know, that one has a dimension upgrade, so that will always keep everything charged, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's all the time I have for today, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, and on the next episode we'll give it a go at Draconic again. Yes, we will. So see you in the next one. Bye.